connect.
Good afternoon. Welcome again to Restart Your Business, Recharge Your Life. My name is Anna and I'm Avila Community Manager. Today we have for the first time two guests, Kevin Tang and Josh Clark. Hello guys.
Hello.
Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you for having us.
You guys are from Leads to Profits and work mainly with 360 degrees marketing strategies.
Yes.
Do you guys want to explain us what you do?
Yeah, for sure. So essentially what we do is we like finding people who have a passion and want to pursue it and turn it into some sort of business, but they don't know where to start. So what we'll do is we'll usually sit down with someone, an expert in some field who wants to start their own thing. Maybe they're not happy in their 9-to-5 job, or maybe they're not satisfied with what they're doing, and we'll assess kind of what their skill set is and where we think they would succeed online, and then we help them from start to finish. So that being building a website, putting together a business plan, business strategy, creating the product. Say if they want to build a course, they want to teach people, we can build the course for them, film it, and then promote it.
You want to add anything?
Yeah.
That's basically it. Just basically taking them offline to online,
Okay.
whichever way they want.
Very well. Our topic today is a very different topic. We don't
Yes.
we don't hear about it often. It's building a life resume versus a work resume. Building life experience instead of job experience for true success. Do you guys want to explain me what is a life resume? I never heard about it before.
Yes.
Yes.
You want to start?
Yes, of course. So usually the usual route for life that we were taught, the traditional route, is going to university and then going to a job right after that, and that's basically starting your career. So you would stay at that company for the rest of your life, where you climb the corporate ladder, and that's building your work resume. But what we want to focus on is building your life resume. So where your passion might lie might not be at the job that you have, and a life resume is basically pursuing your passions and taking time out of your days, out of your week, to actually pursue those things. Where if you like dance, maybe book a dance class each week, and then maybe get better at that, and then trying to find a way where you can incorporate that more into your life.
Yeah. No, exactly. Exactly. Just learning from experience, like building life for experiences rather than building life to look good on a piece of paper to get that promotion kind of thing.
Then why should someone, if you had to tell our viewers why they should do it, what's the reason? Why should they book a dance class? Why should they do that?
Well, the ultimate goal that we think in life is happiness, right? So if you're not passionate about your job, you need to have an outlet where you are passionate about something, because you need a reason to be able to wake up every day happy. So if you're not excited about life in general, then you have to make the moves to actually pursue these things. So one of the things that we really talk about is trying to make Monday the best and most exciting day of our week.
That's smart.
Yeah. So I know that's not usual for everyone, because people usually live for the weekend. So every Friday people get excited, but we're at a point now where sometimes we don't know what day of the week.
Is it today?
Yeah.
You guys know it?
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday. Yeah, it's Thursday.
We had an interview on Thursday, so we had to prepare.
Yeah, so switching that mindset where you're not living for the weekend, but you're living for every day, because you have something to look forward to each day.
Okay. And can you give us your example? I know that when you were in college, you did something about your passion for cooking. Do you want to tell us more about that?
Yeah, so when we were in university, I have a passion for cooking, and we wanted to find a way to monetize that. So we would make, if you've ever seen, there's tasty videos online, so there's a minute-long cooking videos. So I would basically, we had a little production studio at home in Calgary, Canada, and I would cook, and then we would actually come up with marketing campaigns for the products that we used in the videos, and we sold like pancake flippers, for example, online.
And that was exactly the start of us finding a way to take something we're really passionate about and try and build off that and turn that into something that we're generating money from. So that was essentially the start of it.
Can you give us your example from the marathons?
Yeah, for instance, so so this is more about like building experiences in life. We think learning through experience is so much more valuable than learning through textbooks, or learning through lecture halls, or learning through the traditional method. And one of the biggest learning experiences that I've encountered was actually in the past summer when I decided to do my first ultra marathon. This is something I've always wanted to do, is focus on, like, we wanted to focus on body, mind, and spirit essentially, so become physically as fit as possible, and then intelligence, as well as experience, like be in touch with our spiritual side. So for the physical aspect, I started taking 1 hour. I'd wake up 1 hour earlier every single morning to train myself so I could run this ultra marathon through the mountains. And that was such an amazing learning experience for me. I had to overcome so many obstacles along the journey, from injuries to just not giving up on different things. So yeah, that was essentially me following something I've always wanted to do. And the way I did it was just waking up 1 hour earlier so I didn't lose any time in my day, and just would run in the morning.
And that pays off?
Paid off really well. So I ended up doing it, and it was 32 degrees and incredibly difficult, but made it, and it was such like the highlight of my summer. So
we're talking about passion a lot. How can people follow their passion? Not follow, but on the first place, know what their passion is, because many people don't know that.
Yeah.
How can you know that?
This is such a common one that, like, everyone we talk to, they're like. So the reason we originally got into this, to just back up a little bit, and the life resume, is because our friends, especially, like, growing up, would always be like, they're constantly like, oh, they hate their jobs, they're looking for the weekend, they're so excited for that. And then we say, well, why don't you do something you enjoy? They're like, well, I don't really know what I'm passionate about. I don't really know what I enjoy doing. Like, where do they begin? So one thing that we make sure we do is we try new things all the time. So people don't take the time to book something new, to say, take that one class a month to try something. Maybe they'll love it. So if you've never tried painting, maybe try booking a class, go painting once a month, and if you love it, great. If you don't, that's fine. But if you do one new class a month, then you have 12 new experiences, and maybe you'll find your passion in that. Plus, you put yourself around people who are interested in similar things, and if you're around people who are interested in it, maybe you'll meet someone who they know, or find a way to kind of turn that into a career, or start a new job path based on something that you're interested in.
Did you guys do the same when you started?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, so trying to find ways to make money online. So before we had this digital marketing agency, we said yes to every opportunity. So
that's important. Saying
yes.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Go on.
So
we've had some wild experiences,
some very strange situations. We
been in boardrooms in positions that we had no right being in.
We wrote grants for a solar energy company back home, and that was before we even knew anything about renewable energy, solar power. So we had to learn as we went.
we sat in boardrooms with, like, CEOs of multi-million-dollar organizations, and we had $0 to our name, and we just bought a suit literally for that meeting.
Yeah, we bought a suit the day before some of our meetings.
To sit in the meeting, we had to go buy a suit because we didn't own one, and then we were sitting in this meeting with this CEO of this multinational business, and we were running the meeting.
And it went well?
It went
well.
It went well enough. We learned a lot from it. But that's also part of life experiences, right? So, or building your life resume. So that experience, we shouldn't have been there. We accepted it. But we learned so much from being in that position, which we would have probably had to work for 15 years in a corporate job to get to that spot. So again, that's part of building that life resume. That's an experience we'll always look back on and remember, and we learned a lot from.
We just take the skills that we learn from each task and then bring it forward. So there are examples where one time I was a wedding photographer because we got asked for a friend, and so sometimes now we even do, like, videography work for ourselves or for other companies. But the techniques that we had to learn for filming were learned from, like, doing tasks like that.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but what I will say also, if people need a way to, or if they're struggling to find their passion or anything like that, or their interests, a good way is to just actually look at their own Google search history or their YouTube history, because chances are whatever
You
you
normally
watch,
search,
that's
yes.
what you're interested in.
But that's funny because we go to university for like 3-4 years.
Mhm.
We spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
And in the end, we're like, I don't know.
Mhm.
People want to make the most of their degrees, of their knowledge. How can you tell people no? Maybe book a dance class, a painting class. How can people go away from that?
So that we've both been in this situation, and
Yes.
that's why again that we do have the mantra essentially of building that life resumes, because we were in that position where we both were told to go to university. We both were in a lot of debt from going to university, and then we didn't like it, and we were like, okay, so now are we supposed to go work
Can
this
we
job
maybe,
we dislike?
I'm sorry. Tell people what is your degrees so they can know it.
Yes.
What did you?
So I took marketing.
And you?
I took computer science, but I didn't graduate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. But essentially, we were in that position where we were told we had to go through this route, and our whole lives were essentially primed to go to university, get those jobs, and it just wasn't for us. So we decided, in university we started these online stores, and we kind of fell in love with learning through experiences versus learning through textbooks. So I remember I'd go to marketing class, and we'd been running this online store that was generating us thousands and thousands of dollars. We had no idea what we were doing, and we were like, okay. And then I'd go to class, and it was so outdated. The marketing strategies, they can't keep up with what digital marketing is doing because it changes every couple months. So the professor would be trying to tell us these things, and I was, in my mind, I was years ahead because we were actually getting results. So I was like, why am I paying $40,000 for this education in marketing where I'm learning on my own while generating a tremendous amount of money and having so much fun while doing it? So that was kind of where we originally fell in love with, learning on our own rather than learning from a textbook or from a professor.
Yeah.
Do you want to add anything?
Well, it's going back to that linear thinking where you just go to university and then to your career. But a lot of people think that just because they're 5 years into their job now, that if they're not passionate about it, they still have to stick with it. But that's not the case because life isn't a race, right? So you can find success at 35, 45, 55, doesn't matter. So if you can find a way to monetize whatever your passion is, if you take the time to, like once a week, figure out ways to pursue that.
And it's funny because we're young also, so I know we've talked to people who are older and say, well, it's easy for you to say you're 28. I'm like, yeah, but life still passes you by quickly, right? So looking back to when we were 20, yes, we're still young, but we realize how quickly things happen. So living for 2 days a week is the most ridiculous notion to us, and a bunch of our friends are still like, oh, it's finally Friday. So I was like, okay, so you're literally excited for time to pass you by is what that means. You're excited to lose 5 days out of your week. So again, life resume is just about being excited for every single day and every opportunity.
Have you ever changed anyone's mind? Someone who had like a 9-to-5 job and now is pursuing their
far too many people.
A lot of everyone we encounter, they start
Really?
making their businesses online. So we have friends back home that have worked for a bar company. It's like basically, do you know bar workouts where you have a bar?
Yes.
Yeah. on the side, So they built an online business basically from that during COVID. So they teach online courses now, so you can attend the classes on Zoom.
I think another great example is we went to Costa Rica, and this was another experience that we just kind of took a chance at. And we reached out to this property manager who had all these luxury properties, but we saw the footage was really poor, the images weren't great. We weren't videographers yet, but we'd done a lot of kind of video editing for advertisements. And we just reached out and we said, hey, we'd love to come down there, we'll film your properties, in exchange we would like free accommodation. She said, absolutely. These places slept 15 people, so we brought 3 friends along who were not at all working with us, but they were just on vacation. Then while we were down there, they saw us working, they saw how much they'd be like, oh, let's go to the beach, and we'd be like, oh, we'd rather stay here and we'd rather be working on our stuff. So
But do people understand that?
But then they saw that we were actually truly enjoying it because they were trying to get us out and be like, oh, let's go do this. Like, oh, we just want to finish this first. And then they ended up, the two girls ended up starting their own business from there about Airbnbs and how to design it and stuff. And now they're pursuing, they have one is their own flower business, and she was a nurse.
Okay.
So
very different.
So this was just watching, but she didn't like it at all. And we were talking the whole time, we're like, well, you're so skilled at this and you love this. Why don't you help us set up the room for the videos?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." Ended up loving designing and staging, and then turned that into her business from there.
You guys were telling me yesterday that to pursue some passions and to say yes to everything, you need to learn skills. You were telling me it takes 1,000 hours.
So
say
a general
10,000.
rule of thumb,
10,000.
a general
We
rule of
think
thumb
1,000.
is 10,000 hours, right, to master anything. But you don't really have to master something to be able to monetize it or to pursue it. So we always just bump that down to 1,000, because if you spend 1,000 hours doing something, you're gonna get like decently good, right? So,
you don't need to be a pro.
well,
You
to
basically
be
become,
reasonably
you basically
good,
become
you know?
pro. 1,000 hours in, you're
yeah,
pretty
1,000
good at
hours
something.
in.
Okay.
So even if you spend 1 hour a day, at 365 days, you'll get there in less than 3 years.
Okay.
So-
Yes.
And I think what you're referring to is also our, we like to reverse engineer everything, which means,
Yes. What's
Yeah.
that?
okay, so that means we start with the end goal in sight. So when we were in university, one of the things we discussed was we wanted to be able to travel the world and work from our laptops. And we said, okay, how can we achieve that? Well, we have to learn a skill that we can work from our laptops for. So we then started researching all the skills we could find. We realized you need video work, you need to be able to run advertisements to sell anything online, and copywriting. So then we took a bunch of courses in these 3 areas, and we kind of had the end goal of what we wanted, and then we learned the skills, took the courses, took the time to get to where we are today. And now we are able to travel the world in various places like Lisbon.
Yes.
So that
Love
we
it.
designed from when we were in university. Of course, things changed drastically,
Of
but the
course,
skill set was still had the same outcome in mind.
Changing the conversation a little bit, do you think the big companies, corporate jobs, understand the live resume thing? Are they open to give a chance to someone who prefers having live experiences, or is that like 2 different worlds right now?
I think for sure they're looking for that, because knowledge is so prevalent everywhere. Everyone can learn anything on Google or YouTube.
Yes.
So then what separates the differences between the employees, right? It's what they do outside of work that makes them special. So having a life resume, a more bolstered life
Yes.
resume makes them more enticing for companies to want to hire them.
Also, think about if you're in a board meeting and everyone just came back from vacation and someone's like, "Yeah, I spent my week on the beach," and then someone else is like, "Oh, I spent my week building homes in Ghana for the underprivileged people." Like, "Oh, I want to hear more about that.
Of
Like, that's
course, yes.
interesting. Why did you do that?" And it adds interest to who you are as a person.
And
adds,
value.
It adds value, exactly, because
Yes.
those experiences are so much more valuable than someone who, say, just spent the weekend mowing their lawn and watching Netflix.
Yeah. Wait.
Just kidding. We love Netflix, though. However, it's about finding those experiences because they've always wanted to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
chances are,
Yes.
if someone's more inclined to pursue their passions, then they're obviously going to be more inclined to pursue their work. Also, you can sort of
I was
assume that.
going to ask you that. Are people that pursue their passions, that do what they love after work, a class, they're going to be more passionate about their job as well?
Well, I think one thing is a big part about knowing your passion is being self-aware.
Okay.
And self-awareness has a lot of value in the workplace as well. And it shows that you think, I think, deeper about things. You're more insightful, usually, I'd imagine. And then, that's
Yeah, you'll have better mental health, you'll be happier,
Yeah.
you'll be more energized. So, of course, you can work better in the office.
Do you think, I was going to ask you that first, but I forgot. But when you meet someone new, don't people always ask you, "So what do you do?"
Yeah.
What are they asking? It's like job related.
It's the hardest question for us to
Yes.
answer ever,
Yeah.
usually.
What do you answer?
Well, the thing is, are they asking? Yeah, we usually say, "Are you asking about what we do for work or what we do in life?" Like, what do we do? Is we follow our passion essentially. We follow what we love to do. We try and be as adventurous as possible. So yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one to answer always, especially.
But, yeah, I think it's a shame that if you ask someone what they do, it's always their job title first. When I don't think that should be the case. It should be, who they really are, what their passions are, what they do outside of work, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Yes, but for instance, what pays our bills, our normal job?
Yeah.
Society values that more. How can we change that thought? How can society see that we are people outside of our jobs?
Well, people have to work, of course.
Yes.
That's like, we're definitely not saying that. And what we're just saying, like, also people don't, it's not about loving your job necessarily, it's about not dreading your job. So if you're in a position where you look 5 years down the road, there's nowhere, you don't see a brighter future, well then you probably should look to changing that. And then you should try and find, okay, how can I incorporate some things that I'm more passionate about? How can I be happier in this position? And yeah, I think again, that's done by putting yourself in situations, going to different group meetings. With Tech Online, there's events everywhere. So just put yourself in situations where you'll meet people that are in a similar space to where you want to be or where you think you'll be happier. So
going outside of your comfort zone, basically trying to pursue those things. So that's something that there is a fear of maybe quitting your job if you don't like it.
Yes.
Definitely, right? Because it's your security. You need security, yeah.
We're not saying to quit if you don't like it, of course.
But for us, like, there is fear as well where we encounter, so we're trying to overcome that. We're trying to build, like, a YouTube channel, but there is that fear of, what will other people think, or what does everyone else, what will my family say, and stuff like that. So if you're in that position where you're not liking your position at your job and you want to quit, you definitely have to spend some time trying to overcome that fear.
But why do humans are more worried about work accomplishments than life accomplishments? Because that's what everybody wants, a good degree, graduating with honors. Why do people have that state of mind?
Well, I think they've been taught that forever.
Yes.
Like since we were 2, we were taught get good grades, do this, do that, and like follow what you were always told to follow. So
normally parents tell you should be a lawyer, you've been
primed your whole life, and that's exactly what we were told as well. But what if that's not what you're happy doing? So that's.
But how to change that thought? You do that a lot.
It's easy for us. Just naturally.
It's easy.
Yeah, you just have to get to a point where you confront that fear. Like my mom, for instance, has always wanted me to be a dentist. Okay? Mom, you're gonna have to wait on that one. Okay? That's not happening. But there comes a time where you just have to believe in yourself, kind of. And just not worry.
Okay. Did the pandemic change anything, this thought? Giving more weight to work accomplishments instead of life accomplishments?
I think the opposite.
The opposite.
So I think it just showed that entrepreneurship is the new secure.
Okay.
Essentially, before it was getting that 9-to-5 job because everyone likes security, but everyone got laid off. People were struggling a lot more. We had more business than ever because now all these people are offline. They're like, what do we do? How do we make any money? And we'd be like, well, if you know how to monetize your skill or you know how to use online, then you can make money that way. So we were helping businesses who were brick and mortar turn online, starting online stores, launching e-commerce stores. So for us, that was the new, I think having your own business and knowing your own skill set is the new way of being secure.
And making a few mistakes is part of the way, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. We like making mistakes though, because they're all just lessons.
Do you have a few that want to share, so people can get a little more comfortable? If they make their mistakes.
We've made a lot. What are some big ones?
The biggest one was when we started with our e-commerce store in university. So that one, we were making more money than we'd ever made before, but knowing your margins, knowing your numbers, the little fees, every single thing is so important. So we were seeing revenue, which is totally different than net profit, of course. So we were, I think at one point we were spending $2,000 a day on our credit card in advertising costs, and we were making back $4,000 a day as selling pancake flippers. In university, you're like, this is incredible, we're rich. However, we didn't have the if we didn't have the supply, we didn't have the resources to be doing that much money. We shouldn't have gone all in right away. We should have taken our time, understood the business, the shipping fees, the chargeback fees, all the little things that ended up going terribly wrong for us.
Also, there are lots of variables that go unaccounted for, so we didn't know that sometimes Facebook locks you out of your ad account. So our ads were spending automatically
Okay.
$2,000 a day.
Oh my god.
But we couldn't log it. It kicked us out of Facebook, so we were locked out. And we were like, oh my gosh, we're spending so much money every day.
And
How
we
do
weren't, and
how do
our
we stop
margins,
this?
we saw our margins slowly dropping because the ads
Yes.
stopped producing. We're like, oh my god. And then we were at a huge loss for some days. We're like, we can't end this. So it was like the scaling process. We learned a ton there. And also we outsourced to some person who was not doing a good job. So we lost thousands of dollars.
So there were many times where we, over the last 5 years, where we were just like down income-wise.
Yes.
And we're like, to the point where we're looking at each other like, where are we going to get dinner?
Oh my god.
Yeah, oh yeah. We have footage because we've recorded everything for the last 5 years too, which we're super happy about.
Are you launching that? Putting
We
on
will
YouTube?
be, but
Okay.
we've like literally from day one when we had no money.
Okay.
So there's been days where us like eating cereal in this little tiny little garage that our friends' parents let us live it, like stay in for a bit. So we have all that on tape, which will be fun to look at.
Yeah.
Of course, and it's just to see where we've gone from and where we end up. Super fun seeing that journey.
Those mistakes help you plan better now?
Oh yeah, and that's again back to like life resume. It's about just the experiences and learning from every single experience. And the failures, people don't know what we do, like our friends, because we'd be doing one thing and then the next month we're in a completely different situation. Like, wait, I thought you were doing solar. Now you're working in a sports marketing agency that you started with. Yeah, completely different. So people stopped asking, but we still took a skill set or a lesson from every single venture that didn't work out and we brought it with us. So, for instance, the sports marketing agency we were starting.
You had a sports marketing agency, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So that one was actually
From many.
our most successful, and it was short-lived. It was like a year, but we had some NHL players on our client list. We were talking to their agents, and we had good client list. But we didn't love it, first of all, and from that we ended up, so we didn't like it. From that we ended up taking the fact we were building foundations, so we learned how to do that, and now we're going to build our own foundation where we're in charge of where the funds are allocated, and it's about what we're passionate about. So that's just an example of taking a skill from something that we didn't end up loving, but bringing it to our next kind of thing. So we always take pieces from what we like, and we add it to what we think will be our
Do you know what will be next?
We do. We've had a grand vision since the very beginning. But going back to that sports marketing.
Yes, sorry.
That is an example of like pursuing your passion, because from the outside looking in, we had a nice office. We had a team. We had some of the best.
It was big, right?
Yeah, we had some of the best NHL players playing in the world on our roster.
Okay.
And we did the thing where we looked 5 years into the future if we're going to be happy, and we're just like, no,
I
not at all.
remember the conversation. I was
Yes.
like, Kevin, are you not happy with this? Because you could tell because he would just be less communicative, essentially. So he's usually always like excited about things. You could just I could just feel that he was less excited, and I was too, I'm sure. But I don't know if you could sense it or not. But I was like, are you happy doing this? He's like, no. Like, all right, well, let's not do it then. So
But you're passionate about what you're doing now, right?
Yeah, for sure, or else we
Okay.
wouldn't be doing it.
If we ever are not passionate about it, then we'll switch. It doesn't matter. We'll go back to zero if we need to.
Yeah.
But you're not afraid of that, right? Going back to zero, starting again.
Oh, we've been at zero for many years. That's our life. Well, not anymore, but it was for many years.
Yes.
So we have no issue with that. We're very we have a high risk tolerance, which is fortunate because I think a lot of people do need stability and stuff, which makes, of course.
I think we're also in a place of privilege too.
Yes.
We live in Canada. If we need food, then it's available.
Of
Shelter,
course.
it's
We
available.
don't have family. We don't have a family to provide for, which is a huge advantage,
Yes.
and I know that's difficult for some, obviously, parents. So we're fortunate in many ways. But I do think even if you are a parent, there's still ways to find your passions and to take an hour a day for yourself.
But I think that's also the importance of having a base skill. So ours would be digital marketing, right? So if we ever are in a pinch where we have to cancel everything and move somewhere else, that we have the skills to make money online anywhere. So,
guys, unfortunately, we're coming to the end of our
that's
show.
fine. We can talk forever.
It was
Yeah.
amazing. I have one last question.
Yeah.
What does success mean to you?
Oh,
What is success to you?
happiness for me.
yeah, same
Yeah.
for sure. It's literally waking up and being excited about every single day. Is,
Not knowing
Truly
what day of the
what it
week is.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Just having every day is a new adventure. And it's, yeah.
Okay, guys, where can our viewers find you online, maybe?
Yeah, online. We're just finishing up our new website actually.
Yeah.
But
You have a few more?
we drew a few more.
Yeah,
but
we do.
our website's currently
Our main big one.
leads2profits.org. The
Okay.
number 2 in the middle. Or on Instagram, Josh Clark
Yeah.
93.
And if you want to see our new website that's coming out, it'll be probably done within the next couple weeks.
Okay.
It's the number 7 on earth.com.
Okay.
And that's
Yeah.
the grand scale. There's
Yeah,
7
yeah.
continents.
Yeah.
Lots to
Okay.
be done. But that'll be fun.
Guys, thank you so much for giving us this perspective, a different perspective, but a very good one with a lot of meaning. Thank you so much.
I hope it made
Yeah,
sense because we
thank
talk
you.
about it
No,
amongst
it
each
made
other all the
total
time.
sense.
So putting it in a...
Sometimes we get in our own
Total
heads.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. We'll be back in a few weeks with another guest. Thank you.